Hey guys, Matty Miller, Pursuit Real Estate, coming to you again with a real quick thing we want to talk about as the market has eased a little bit as far as our pace of selling property. And it seems like the properties are sitting on the market just a little bit longer. And I just want to go through one thing that could help you if you are considering selling in a little more of a competitive market. And we're going to go through one major thing and how that can help you immensely if you are looking to sell your home. Basically, if you've been paying attention in the news or you've talked to an agent such as myself, seen my videos, talked to really any real estate agent, we know that, our market here in Northeast Florida is not moving as fast as it once was in 2021, 2022, even into 2023. So we're seeing much more of approaching a balanced market. And one thing that people ask me a lot, they're like, hey, should I do a pre-inspection on my house before I list it? And the answer to that is largely yes, it's a good idea. And we're going to break down exactly what and why you should do that and what the benefits are to doing a pre-inspection before you list. Moral of the story, quite honestly, people, is that it makes no mistake that when our market does become more competitive, the properties that do have everything on them that are ready to go, move-in ready, those properties are moving a lot quicker. So the comparison is if you have a certified pre-owned vehicle, the dealership has in theory already done their inspection on it. They've fixed anything that needed to be fixed or handled what needed to be done in order to sell that property at a higher value. Essentially with houses, we're doing the same thing. So if we do a pre-inspection on a home, we are basically uncovering everything that an inspector says needs to be fixed. And if we do that prior to, number one, we could share that inspection if we wanted to with a potential buyer saying, hey, listen, we've already had it inspected. Here it is. If you want to do your inspection as a buyer, actually as a buyer's agent, sometimes I would still encourage them to do their own because you get two differing opinions, but you are showing that we've taken the steps to make sure that everything on this home is ready to go for you to move in. So that's a big key. Ultimately, you're doing less negotiations, which is perfect. Everybody likes less negotiations. You know the value of your home. There's not any issues. You're assuring a buyer that it's ready to rock and roll. And also, if there is actually a major issue, you can uncover that. Okay, so you uncover that, you fix that issue. The chances of you getting a buyer and then them backing out are going to minimize once you fix that issue too. So that's a big one. If you have a qualified buyer on the hook, you don't want to let them off. We don't want to let the big fish off the hook. So as long as you're good there and you've been up front and you fix those issues and you can prove that you fixed them, that's fantastic. Also, at the same time, we kind of talked about negotiations. And again, it just gives you more leverage. So if you do decide that you want to list a property and you want to go ahead and get the highest price you can at the top of the market, you want to make sure it's in better shape. Buyers these days, for whatever reason, at least I feel this way, our younger generation looks for things that are move-in ready. They don't want big projects, even though as someone who's in kind of the investing game, I like properties that need a little bit of work because I know I can put a little elbow grease in to increase that value later. So you can kind of build in that equity or, put a little elbow grease and make some equity. But a lot of our buyers in our market are looking for something that doesn't have anything wrong with it, that is ready to go. They don't have to do any work. So big thing there. And if you have that, you're going to negotiate less. It's going to be a smoother process. And ultimately, you're going to sell your house for the most money possible. So if you have any questions on that or want to sit down and talk about selling your home, want to sit down and say, hey, I think my home's in perfect condition. Do we want to get an inspection on it? Hey, let's go ahead and do that so we can prove to that next buyer that it's ready to rock and roll and you can sell your house very quickly in a much more competitive market. 4 years ago, we didn't have to do that. You could put a sign in the front yard. You could sell your house in 2 seconds. It was very simple. Buyers were willing to just, kind of overlook all that stuff. In today's much more competitive market, you're going to need to do some things. It might cost you a little bit extra money, but if you do it, I promise in the long run, it's going to work out. So if you have any questions and you want to sit down and talk about that, you know where to find me. My name is Matty Miller with Pursuit Real Estate. Thanks, and I appreciate you listening.